I guess I got to make this whole video all over again because the volume keeps not working. I don't know if I need a new mic or what, but anyway, my final thoughts on Strive, sort of, I guess. And of course, it's kind of a broken record because the game turned out how I said it was going to. What a surprise. I predicted another game without ever playing it, right? But I did think of a few other things I can mention about this game, I guess, to make it a little more interesting. A few little comments and commentary, whatever. Again, I think that this game, unlike other games, unlike other Guilty Gear games, I should say, whereas before other Guilty Gear games teeter-tottered on the idea that the characters were more important than the system, and the system was important before in other games, but the characters, it leaned towards the characters being more special and more important. This game now kind of tips the scales, and that the system is the most important thing. They're really trying to sell you on the system of this game more so than the interesting characters, which is ironic and sad because the characters are still, well, the most interesting thing about this game. The reinterpretations, the reinventions of the characters, however you want to call it, are still the best part about this game. So it's sad, right? You know, I said before, they were really going to try to sell you on a more methodical, a more slow-paced, a more deliberate kind of Guilty Gear, with that flashes of brilliance, whatever that kind of term is, more of those flashes of, you know, they're going to try to sell you on like, oh, the system is so amazing, the RCs are so cool, play this game because of this, look what a fighting game can be because of this RC system, whatever. But at the end of the day, the system is 2 years old now, right? I mean, it's not new. The game is almost 2 years old, right? I talked about how they were going to, and you can see it even on Twitter. What does everyone do all the time? They're just like, oh, look what I can do with RC. It's my RC versus your RC. I showed him videos from like day one. I'm like, that's what they're going to try to sell people on this game. The characters are not the most important thing in this game anymore. It's the system. Those little interactions of like, oh, the game is more slow and deliberate, more methodical, whatever. But these flashes of like, oh, I'm trying to get in to mix you up or punish you by slowing down with my RC, my drift RC, whatever it might be. But then, oh, I RC'd, now you RC'd. Oh man, and you could tell this is what they're trying to make seem exciting to, if a commentator was trying to sell you on this game or doing a play-by-play of the match, you can tell those are the instances where they're going to try to make the viewer seem excited. RC system, blah, blah, blah. But again, it's ironic because the characters are still the coolest part about this game. And I do think, again, and I still stand by this game is more interesting than Xrd, right? And again, I've said many times before, I don't mind a game being more methodical, more slow-paced, more deliberate, whatever it might be. I like old school games, right? I only do the combo videos and all the tech videos because I can do them, right? So I don't mind the game being more slow and more methodical, right? But at the end of the day, again, the characters are the most interesting thing about this game. And to use some analogies as well, even though Street Fighter, you know, let's say is a more slow-paced, a more methodical kind of game, Street Fighter, for what it's worth, has more buttons. You have three special moves with three different versions of it. Generally speaking, in this game, you only get one special move, right? And one kind of version of it. Sometimes there's two versions of it, right? But Street Fighter, there is that potential complexity and redundancy. Whereas this game does lean more towards, you have this kind of tool set, that's it. You know, it's a more simpler tool set, and so there's more of a specific purpose for moves, right? So you don't get that kind of potential complexity and redundancy of moves that, although they may look like they serve a similar purpose, there actually is that minute differences that makes the game complicated, right? I do think it's interesting that this game is, again, more methodical, more deliberate, more neutral based. Not that there's no neutral in old school Guilty Gear, because of course there is. But I do think it's interesting that in this game that is more methodical, more slow paced, more neutral, whatever you might want to call it, deliberate, that the game is pretty aggressive on negative penalties, I think, actually. And I think it's a little kind of hypocritical, actually, to make this game more, again, more aggressive on negative penalties, despite the game trying to sell itself as more methodical. It's kind of weird to me. To touch on, before I get into the characters, also I do think this game would have benefited a bit from some more Street Fighter kind of links, you know, jab to strong, whatever it might be. Or I guess it'd be like jab to almost a medium here. More links would have been better. I would have liked backdashes to be a smidge more invincible as well. So when you're dancing in and out of range, again, this game is more methodical, a little bit more invincible. Again, the whole DP stuff in this game is, I think it's ridiculous. It has me actually saying anything stupid, right? Which is ridiculous. People try to say I said something stupid, but look who's always right, dude. But, you know, this is not the most risky game ever to jump in. I can't believe people were trying to say that. All these content creators and chillers trying to say, most risky game ever to jump in. Obviously not true. I do think it's stupid that, you know, DPs, I can DP with Kai and I'm punishable when you block it. You don't need to FD it. That shit is retarded. It's stupid that you can throw DPs. I guess they just don't like dragon punches. I think it's good that forward punches were toned down a little bit. And again, that's not something that anyone has against me, because I said from that very first beta, dude, I was like, all these other people like, oh, you got to make forward punches better, blah, blah, blah. Guess who wasn't saying that? Again, correlation doesn't equal causation. That's not the problem with the game. Said it from day one, it's not forward punches, and guess what happened? Then beta 2, they made forward punches better, and all people did was, oh, look what I can do on Twitter, forward punch beats everything, blah, blah. No shit, Sherlock. You know, I mean, this is why you shouldn't trust, you shouldn't even be listening to the community half the time, because it's full of fucking idiots, dude, right? To talk about, again, the characters are more interesting and not actually trusting that the characters are the most interesting thing in the game. Serendipitously, let's look at a character like Kai. You have Kai with his shock state, right? I think it's interesting that, you know, the shock state is, I talk about it's good in games where you can have a character that can teach you the game slowly but surely while leveling up, right? And I think what they should have done with the shock state, and it's a good example of them not actually trusting the characters and trusting that they're the best thing in the game. Look at those combos I did from the first beta. And, you know, even linking off of Kai's shock state fireball, which, you know, Jesus Christ, we know how slow Kai's fireball is in this game, right? And so many shock state combos were completely toned down, right? I think something that they actually should have done with the shock state, instead of when you like electrocute the guy now, you know, they're electrocuted for however many frames. I think it should have been, you should be, once you shock state a guy, they're electrocuted for however long, no matter what, until you finally hit a move that does its shock state effect. But the caveat, the new weaknesses to it is, whenever you FD, you don't take the shock state effect from an electrocution move, whatever. That's a way to kind of teach the person the video game about FDing, and it is able to be easily digestible, appreciated at all levels, right? You don't need to be advanced to FD, right? Person about Guilty Gear. And it's a fun spin on Kai. It's sad that, again, they didn't trust that this is the most interesting part about your game, the characters, right? To talk about, God, I can't believe I got to do this video all over again. That's very fucking frustrating, this mic. I hope it's recording now. To comment on some stuff that I thought was also interesting, if you see the community saying this kind of stupid stuff. Let's talk about the wall, since again, it's a huge black eye in the game, and it's a huge fundamental flaw when you are trying to sell, you know, again, that teeter-totter of now the system is the most important thing in the game, and the system ultimately comes down to the wall as well, and the wall is a huge clusterfuck, right? Something that I thought was interesting, and I'm going to be leading into this, is, do you remember during those betas, and again, I never said that I thought Ramlethal was bad. Remember people, when the Ramlethal was first shown, people were like, oh, Ramlethal sucks. Guess what? Who else do you think was the person that didn't say Ramlethal sucked? It was me. And then first beta came out, oh my god, Ramlethal and Soul are so good. Jesus fucking Christ. But a comment that I want to comment on that I think is interesting, and if you think about it, it's kind of hypocritical, ironic, whatever, is, do you remember when so many people were like, oh, Ramlethal and Soul feel so good because they are the only characters that are playing Guilty Gear? Well, what is Guilty Gear? What do you mean they're the only characters that are playing Guilty Gear, right? And people are like, oh, they're so free-flowing, they're just rushing you down, they can pressure you so easily. This comment is kind of interesting if you think about it, because I'm going to lead it here into the wall, because isn't one of the things that the shillers and all these people that are trying to defend the wall mechanic, they're like, because, well, we don't want you to be able to just be pressured, all these set play things, all this okizeme or whatever, and pressure. So first of all, who says that that pressure only counts if you are pressuring the opponent in the corner? Why can you only mix up the opponent in the corner? All this kind of stuff. So that logic is flawed anyway, since you guys are saying oh, Soul and Ramath are the ones playing Guilty Gear because they're pressuring you mid-screen. They're doing whatever they want. So do you see what I'm getting at here? How that's kind of weird? And it just kind of shows the stupidity of oh, you're just really trying to suck off the developers, when the developers even admitted themselves that they don't know why you would or would not break the wall. The wall's just kind of there, right? Remember how stupid that interview was? Anyway, sometimes there's better mix-ups mid-screen. So that was just something that I always thought was stupid too. Again, then I can't remember, this game in the first place was stupid, right? A correlation doesn't equal causation. People couldn't see the bigger problems of the game. And to touch on the wall and some more examples that I thought that I haven't showed before that were interesting because it happened with a friend. First of all, I still don't know why this is the only thing that you can do now. You can do this kind of slide down thing. This is the only relic of the past from that first beta and earlier versions of the game. Remember, you used to actually be able to slide down. You used to be able to hit the guy a little bit higher, and then they would slide down. And, while they're sliding down, that's adding more frames to the wall regeneration health meter, which, at least there could be some kind of theoretical reason that you can get more of a combo, but now all you can do is the very lowest as possible, right? Well, something interesting happened as well to talk about how stupid the wall is. I was playing a friend today, and here's a situation that came up that I didn't talk about in videos. I was pressuring him. We were just playing a regular match. Remember how stupid this wall is? We're still breaking the wall. Even when we're mid-screen, we're breaking the wall. He hit me here. I hit him there. Blah, 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 blah. You got to count the frames. You know what I mean? Who knows where you are in the combo? And, well, it so happened that he was a little bit near the corner, and I did this, and I hit him right there, and it was like that. And I was like, holy shit. What combo am I supposed to do there? I can't even take advantage of the wall. I hit him so high off of that, and I'm like, I can't reach him. There's just nothing in time is going to hit him. When he's that high, I just can't. I can't get high enough. And I was like, holy shit. And so then he just tagged, and then he was mid-screen, and we just paused the game. It's like, this thing is so fucking stupid, dude. There's literally situations where I just hit you with a random hit so high, you can't. How do you react to that? Does the wall help you there? Another example here. We're talking about, I thought it was funny that you see these people like Smash Brother people, which is weird because I feel like I'm one of the few kind of OG players who, actually defends Smash Brothers. I think Smash Brothers is a real fighting game, But people are trying to say we Smash Brother players, we've always been playing, on the, I don't remember the wording the people use, but we're being spontaneous, we're judging to random things, whatever. The Smash Brothers, you guys play. You make rules to how the game can even be played in tournaments. You guys hate spontaneity so much. You don't want items in fucking tournaments. You guys make rules to how the game can even be played. So don't talk about that you guys like spontaneity and you like reacting to things on a fly, because that's out right now. Listen to my controller, right? So what if I'm just randomly doing some combo? I don't know exactly where he is in the combo, but then I say, I hit him with a hit and I do. Did you see? Just how do you react to that? The game saves your inputs. Oh, sorry, my bad. Well, fuck, if I knew the wall was going to break there, I would have DP'd, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But the game saves your inputs when it just happens like that. So it's not, what do you react to? The game is saving your last input. There were situations when I was just playing, and I feel like these are such obvious examples. I'm doing some combo, and he was about to die, and I'm like, well, I think I get one more hit. And I'm like, well, fuck, I just wasted that. And it's like, I should have, if I knew that was going to happen, I would have DP'd to kill. Or fuck, maybe I would have supered. And then, he just lived. And it's like, well, fuck, I could have killed you and I had no idea. And it saves your last input. I made that video. I showed examples where who knows where you are in the time buffer, the frame regeneration of the wall. And it's like, oh, you're playing these footsies that people think didn't exist in old Guilty Gear. Footsies do exist, but You know, oh man, we're playing, you know, he hits me here, I hit him there, I pressure him here. Like, well, where am I in the combo? Well, maybe I'm going to drift RC in after I hit my random hit. It's my most damaging combo. Oh, it's too early. Well, I just wasted super. I just wasted a super trying to do that when I could have just, boom, I could have just hit my hit into a slide. And I would have got the same damage. And I just wasted an entire meter. What is there to react to there? There's no spontaneity there, dude. This is not spontaneous, dude. There's nothing that you're reacting to per se in those kind of situations. You're just getting fucked. Okay? It's a huge fundamental flaw of the game. It is encouraging you to play the game simpler. How can you defend a game that does not encourage you to get better at it? Is there a clear-cut indication where this is encouraging you to get better at it? It is actually encouraging you to play the game in a safer way because you don't know in your combo. It's not reasonable to be counting the wall while you're right here. Oh, he hit me here. Well, maybe I waited a second before I hit him. Where am I in the wall? And then, oh, I finally hit him. Like, yeah, it's not. Oh, god damn it. What the fuck, dude? Maybe I would have wanted to do something different if I knew I was going to break the wall, right? Why would you want a game that is encouraging you to play the game simpler, in a more simple way? You know, so it's a huge fundamental flaw of the game. It's a huge black eye on the game. It doesn't matter that this game is more methodical, more slow paced, whatever you want. Mental flaw of a game. A game is not fundamentally flawed for being more slow, more deliberate. There's nothing wrong with the game like being like that. There's nothing wrong with the game having a wall. As a matter of fact, I've told numbers of ways that you could make the wall instantly better and it actually add to the game. The problem is the wall is added in a haphazard way that is not really benefiting anybody. You know, if anything, it's benefiting the loser sometimes. There's not a clear-cut winner all the time where there should be, and it can actually be a negative to the person doing it, right? And then you think about it from all these different circuits, like, oh, well, they don't want you to be pressured. You know, we don't want you to be pressured. We don't like when you just get knocked down and everything. You just get mixed up. Who says you can't be pressuring people mid-screen? Who says there's no mix-up stuff? Like, what are you talking about? Aren't you guys the same? They're trying to say, like, oh, so fun because he's just pressuring me mid-screen. It's like, wait, that's Guilty Gear. So wait, now you say you do like Guilty Gear? Well, the worst thing about Guilty Gear was set play and being pressured in the corner all the time. Oh, the best thing about the game is Soul is Guilty Gear. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm a fucking idiot. You know? So, anyway. I also think it was funny that, you know, the developers, you know, they keep delaying the game because, oh, we're going to delay the game to fix the lobbies. And, you know, people are still complaining about the lobbies. And then what did I say also in those videos? I was like, I wonder if this beta is purposely bad because then the final version is going to be better. Do you remember I said that? And then guess what the developer said? Oh, yeah, we purposely made the last beta worse to make the final version better. Did I not say that in a video? Is there any goddamn fucking time I am ever wrong about a video game? It's like I said, it's almost fucking boring at this point. Unfortunately, their game still is flawed. I think it's better than, you know, Xrd. You know what I mean? And I think there is some interesting ideas in it. But it doesn't change the fact that the game has a big fundamental black eye on it. The wall doesn't make any sense. I can't believe I got to make this video again. I don't know where the fuck I was. Let me see. Did I miss anything else? Again, I think the game, yeah, I said that a little bit too. God, I just can't believe I had to make this video again. Again, it's something different. Games need to progress. And the character progression is interesting in its own way, but they didn't trust the characters enough. They didn't trust that their characters are still the most interesting thing, and the characters are kind of stale versions of a cool version of the character. Does that make sense? It's like there's an idea with this character here, but you just kind of left him out to dry. You didn't trust him to let him bloom. He was a blooming flower, but it was not let to bloom in the sunlight. He was a flower that was planted in the snow. He was not watered. This flower was not watered. Whatever the fuck, I don't know. Whatever fucking analogy you want to use, I guess. Yeah. Correlation doesn't equal causation. You know, I don't know. I made this video twice, so I don't know where the fuck I am. I'll just write down some stuff. Hopefully this one fucking taped better.